Imagine waking up with an eye swollen shut. I didn't have to imagine this was me. I have eczema and sometimes I get flares out of nowhere, and instead of hiding and crying, I'm gonna show you guys how I deal with it. Are you one of the few? Well, this is the family for you. Fellow Eczema Warriors, assemble. My name is Victoria and I make eczema related content. And if I'm honest, right now, this lighting is making me look like I'm not flaring. It's making me look fantastic. But the reality is just a few short days ago, I was a mess. I'm still a little bit of a mess. I had a flare out of nowhere. Today I'm gonna just tell you how I deal with my skin flares. Please note, I'm not a doctor. I am just a lady on the internet who's had eczema her entire life, sharing my story, sharing how I thrive with eczema. I got a new mic today. I don't know how I feel about this, but I digress. The flare out of nowhere. Basically on Wednesday, I woke up with my eye red at first. So my eye was red and I was starting to get a little bit of like a rumbling and bumping underneath. So I knew something was in the works. When you have eczema, it just feels like you're on a constant roller coaster. You look one way and you wake up looking like Freddy Krueger. If you haven't watched my eczema horror story, go watch it, because honestly, my life has been one story after another. I wake up, my eyes a little bit red, so I'm like, okay, let's just take it easy for the day. As the day progresses, it gets worse. I'm pretty sure what happened was that I got irritated by the overhead fan in my room. Typically, I don't put it on, but we had it on that night and it caused irritation. It dries out the air, you know, but it's hot, man. Like, it's hard. So, fine. Then, to add insult to injury, if you have eczema, right, and you're already beginning to flare, don't decide to go on a trip. I went on a women's retreat, which, to be honest, it was lovely. I had a great time, but my skin was not in the best place. So I went on the trip, and of course I experienced more inflammation while on the trip. And by the time I got home, my body said, okay, Vic, we're done here. You're done here. And all things went to poop. All right, so just a little backstory. If you don't know, I am on and off of a drug called Dupixent. I don't want to waste your time with all the details of what Dupixent is. So that's my fridge. If you don't know what Dupixent is, I have a whole playlist dedicated to, it's called Dupixent's Tales. I'll post it here, or you can check the description. All you need to know. But I've been on and off of Dupixent. I would say now I'm on again. So I went 3 months on it, another 3 months off of it, and then I took it, and then I waited 5 weeks, and then I had my flare on Wednesday, and I realized I was going on this trip. So I was like, you know what? Let me just take the shot. So I shot my shot. I took my Dupixent shot on the Friday right before my trip, just kind of thinking like, I knew I was like semi-flaring, but I figured that if I took the shot, it would help me to manage while I was there. I was wrong. I went to this beautiful Airbnb, and the thing about Airbnbs is that they are owned by people, not corporations. So they use products like, if you go to a hotel, they are going to wash the bed sheets. They're not going to use Tide. They actually have some other toxic chemical they use, but it doesn't seem to aggravate my skin. Tide does aggravate my skin. And so I'm in their bed, in the bed sheets, they have Tide. They have down pillows. I didn't bring a pillow, the down. There's dust. Pretty sure that the owners probably had a dog, or maybe guests that had stayed there in previous times had a dog. So I was just a mess. I just figured if I took my shot, I would be okay. The shot didn't do that for me. What the shot did was it dried me out, which this is typically what happens with Dupixent when you first go on it. You will notice that every area, especially the areas where you typically get eczema, just start getting dry and crusty, and it all flakes out. And so that was happening to my eyes, my cheeks, my chin, my neck, my hands, my arms. Dry. I'm trying to cope with this while I'm away, and then after the dryness comes the flaking. After the flaking, then comes the beauty that we're all waiting for. The inflammation goes down, all is well with your life. How do I cope? How do you cope when your skin is going berserk out of nowhere and you have a life to live? That's really what this video is about. So first of all, how do you cope mentally? You need to balance rest with living your life. Like, you need rest because that is what helps heal you, but you also need to live, right? We need to work, we need to have a social life, we need to do all the things. For myself, when I first got a flare, like that Wednesday when I first noticed, oh my gosh, my eye is starting to kick in, I said, okay, today I'm taking the rest of the day off and I'm just going to rest. I'm not going out, I'm just taking the time to rest, because I knew I still wanted to go on my trip. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have gone on my trip, but you know what? At the same time, I'm glad that I did. I had to set myself up for success, and I got myself some eye drops and moisturizing and all of that just to set me up for this trip. So another way that I cope mentally is you, okay? It's coming on here and having an eczema community. It's watching, people like Remy's Skin Journey or Eczema Conquerors. Like, those things give me sanity. I don't really know people that have eczema, at least not the way I do. I know people that they're like, oh yeah, I get a little rash here and there, but my eczema can really like alter things for my life, for my day. I don't know people like that. It feels like there's just a few of us in the world that have eczema. So I love Fellow Eczema Warriors, this channel. I love coming into the comments and seeing other people just like me who understand this thing, this chronic illness that we have to deal with. Another way that I cope mentally is gratitude. Every day I send 10 things that I'm grateful for to a friend. And I encourage anyone to do this because gratitude is so good for all of our mental health. But I do 10 because, you can easily come up with 3 things. When you have to do 10 things, you have to really think about it. You have to start to dig deep, and you can't say the things that you said the day before. So, today, some things that I said I was grateful for is this new mic that my husband, had me sample. I'm grateful that my eye inflammation went down. I'm grateful for this sweet mug that my friend, got me from Switzerland. I'm grateful for all the friends and family that always bring me back mugs that are mint or like the blue palette that I love, bluish green palette that I love. I just send those to my friends, and by the time you get to number 10, it's like your whole demeanor has changed. You feel like, you know what, I can do this thing called life. And another thing that helps me is fasting. I am currently on day 2 of a fast. I want to do 7 days. I like to take it day by day, but fasting, something about going into ketosis gives you such clarity, mental clarity. When you are flaring, when your skin is flaring, your mind just flips, your emotions flip. You almost feel like you're mentally out of control. And fasting really helps rein things in, reins your emotions. I love it, okay? But I'm gonna talk more about it in the physical elements, right? How do you cope physically during a flare? One way that, because mine really took off around my eyes and face, was warm compresses. Typically I do cold compress, but especially if it's like my neck or, even just my face overall, if it's kind of itchy and irritated, but when you're flaring and it just feels like everything is just off, I like to do a warm compress. It feels calming to me. You need to be very careful not to make it too hot. I found a warm compress around my eyes because whenever I get it around my eyes, everything irritates me. So instead of using like a wet rag or something like that, I tend to put rice in a sock, heat that up in the microwave, tie it up, heat it up in the microwave, and just put that on my eyes. Be careful, obviously, not to burn yourself, but that is very comforting. Of course, fasting. I do a collagen and water fast for 7 days. Watch my video. I talk about my 168 hours without food. I've done it before, and I had fantastic results. And so because I was feeling so frustrated with my skin again, I felt like, you know what, I need to rein it in with my diet, because I was also starting to eat a little bit bad. I tend to eat a pretty much keto style diet. I try to stay away from gluten, dairy, and sugar, all things good in the world. But on my little trip and leading up to it, I was just eating a little bit too much sugar, and sugar is like a nightmare for inflammation and nightmare for eczema. And so I needed to rein that in. And I find fasting is the quickest way for me to rein my diet back in and for me to be able to start eating well again. I plan at the end of the 7 days, if I make it 7 days, to go carnivore. Stay tuned for that. But don't hold me to it. I'm an experimental kind of gal. I like to try things, and carnivore diet has been on my heart for a really long time. So we're gonna see. Don't worry. Comment down below carnivore if you want to see like something related to carnivore diet, or maybe me like day to day showing you guys. Maybe I'll do it in my shorts. I have a whole shorts side of my channel. If you guys just want like quick snippets, y'all can watch things. I have some funny eczema related content on my YouTube shorts. Anyway, I digress. Oh yes, I simplify all my skincare products, okay? I have a whole bunch of different things I like to do, lotions and potions, but when I feel like my entire body is flaring, because not only were my eyes flaring, my neck was inflamed, my wrists were inflamed, here was like everything I just didn't feel good because I felt like I was allergic to the place I was in as well. So I simplify my products. I start only using glycerin and aloe vera gel, nothing else when I'm flaring like everywhere, because it feels like everything is irritating me. And of course you have to up your sleep. I'm sleeping like a baby. I'm sleeping like my dreams are paying me, sleeping like it's my job. Sleep, 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 sleep. And I know if you have work and all the things, you're gonna have to arrange and figure that out, but sleep is so integral when you're flaring. I'm sleeping on overtime, and especially because I'm fasting, it's easier for me to sleep. It's so weird because when I'm hungry, I can't sleep. But when I'm fasting, my night sleep, like I go into that REM, like that good sleeping, I go into that. So you up your sleep, and now we're gonna move on to how I cope emotionally. Because you know, emotions, they're a pain. And when you have eczema, your emotions, whoop, 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 it's Wonderland out here. First thing you need to develop is some good self-talk. It's like in an instant, just because you don't like what you're seeing and you physically are uncomfortable, your mind can just go haywire, and then your emotions follow, okay? So you need to have some good self-talk. You need to have an eczema script that you go to tell yourself, you know what? I'm still beautiful, I'm still valuable, I still have a place in this world, even though I'm looking kind of cray-cray right now. And I did this whole video about how my eczema actually gave me confidence, because I have learned to feel good even when I feel bad. It used to be that when I would flare, it would send me into like this depressing spiral. I still feel that way for a brief moment, and then it stops because I have good self-talk. Physical touch with friends, family, your children. Physical touch is so important for your emotional health, and it releases dopamine and oxytocin and all the things. So please touch the people that you love appropriately. It sounds very weird, but there is something to be said about bringing that cortisol down. When you touch, do not isolate. Let people see your face. Let people see your flare. Let people see it. My friends have checked in on me, and I've sent them videos of me looking cray-cray. And you know what? It allows you to not isolate, because it can be very easy to just want to hide away because you don't feel good. I really felt like that. I was annoyed that I had to film like this. So I was editing my video, and I'm like, wow, that lighting was making me look so good. Guys, this is the same day of this video. Lighting is key. Just so you can see. I don't wear any makeup in my videos, but lighting is my best friend. Oh my gosh. Not me thinking I was looking better. Anyway, this was for you guys. You know, even though I know that this is part of what I said I was gonna do, I would rather come on here looking great and then show you guys videos of the past when I didn't look so hot. I didn't really want to be on here in the midst of feeling frustrated with my skin. But you know what? These are the videos that probably connect the most, because it's like, okay, She's suffering right now, but she's smiling, right? I hope so. I hope my smiles are helping you feel better. Please do not isolate. Let people in. Let people see what's really happening. And lastly, self-care. Now, for me, I'm gonna be a little stereotypical. I got my nails done. Getting my nails done has two purposes. It stops me from scratching, and it makes me feel like my hands are beautiful. I know they are beautiful regardless. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. But it just makes me feel pretty. So that's the thing that I do as a self-care. For you, it might be something else. Don't feel like you need to get your nails done. Maybe you want to go buy a new book. Maybe just something that makes you feel like, you know what? Life is still worth living. That is what you need to do to kind of keep your emotions down. You need to tell yourself how you feel. You know what? I'm going to feel good today. And you know why I'm going to feel good today? Because I'm going to go take myself for a coffee, or I'm going to go to a cafe I like, or I'm going to watch the show I like, or I'm going to do some journaling, or I don't know what it is. I don't know. You guys tell me down below. What do you like to do to self-care? So that, my friends, is how I flare with flair. Stay tuned for my next video. I'm actually going to take you guys through my fall skin routine. I already have my face skincare routine up, but I'm going to take you through what we do with our body. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't subbed, subscribe, all right? I have noticed, I don't know if you guys ever seen Diary of a CEO, and he always talks about how there's a percentage of people who watch, but they haven't subbed. Yeah, now I understand why he says that, because in the YouTube analytics, it's been telling me so many of you guys are watching, but you haven't subbed yet. So sub, join the Few family. Fellow Eczema Warriors, let's assemble, because no warrior should ever battle alone. And until next time,